What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And of course, we're at a brand new month. It means a brand new tier list video. So today, we're going to be going ahead, taking a look at my last month's tier list, making any necessary changes, and also adding the new characters that have been releasing throughout the past month. So we're going to go ahead and add, I don't know, actually, Sanji Pudding. I'm going to go ahead and put them back on the list. I don't know why they're not here. But Cracker 6 Plus has been added to the game. So I've removed Cracker off of this tier list now, and we've added his 6 Plus. We've got the Fire Tank Pirates here, and we've also got Bonnie as well. So we got to go ahead and place all those characters. Sanji Pudding, they need to go back on this list. I don't know why they're not placed anywhere. They were placed here. They were right behind Kaido. I remember that. You guys can't see it because my face is in the way. But yeah, so we've got tier 1's looking a little beefy right now. But up the top there, my face cam is covering it. But we do have Sanji Pudding. We do also have Kozuki Oden is up there as well, just in case if you guys were wondering that. So we've also got V1 Kaido as well. Anyways, as I said, this is going to be this month's tier list. We're going to go ahead and go through all these tiers, change any positions of the characters that need to be changed, and also add these brand new characters. Now, before we get into that, I'm sure many people would be wondering, how do I personally rank these characters? So I have a couple of different criteria. Number one being the power of the unit, so how much damage potential do they actually have, the speed of the unit, how fast can they be used to clear content, the reliability of the character, so are they very reliable at clearing that content? Does it rely on RNG at times? What's the clear rate of the captain? Is there content that they literally can't clear? And what's their usability and versatility? Can they be put on a lot of different teams? And can they even be put on teams where they're not even fully boosted? That definitely makes the character more valuable to own, in my opinion anyways. But before we get into this actual tier list video, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video. This video is sponsored by the wonderful people over at Gemstone Legends. They hit me up and asked me to check out their game, and I gotta say, the game is actually pretty fun and super clean looking. The best way to describe Gemstone Legends is that it's a turn-based puzzle RPG, and it is free to download on iOS and Android devices. You're able to download it by scanning this QR code you see on the screen right now, or you can go down below in the video description or in the pinned comments of this video to click my links and download Gemstone Legends today. And if you do use my link or QR code to download Gemstone Legends, you're going to get your hands on this really awesome beginner pack worth around 50 bucks, so make sure to get downloading today. What was striking about Gemstone Legends was the fluidity and the aesthetic appeal and the overall polish of the game as well. Just animations are super crisp, character designs look super awesome and fit well in the world that has been built up in the campaign mode of Gemstone Legends. Gemstone Legends has a bunch of different game modes you can go ahead and play, such as the very dense campaign mode. There's also everyone's favorite in PvP Arena, as well as the Rift game mode to get yourself some very powerful artifacts for your heroes. And this is coming from me, guys. I believe this game is ridiculously well done, very polished, it looks great, it runs well, and it overall is a blast to play. Remember, you can download this game today by going ahead and scanning my QR code, or go down below in the video description or in the pinned comments of this video to download using my links. And if you do use my links, you're going to get your hands on a really awesome starter pack worth over $50, which gives you a free epic hero known as Moralia. So once you have downloaded the game, you'll be able to find me in there as well under the name Toadskii with the guild of the broskiis, which you guys should be able to join as well. Hopefully I can see you guys in the game, and thanks once again to Gemstone Legends for sponsoring today's video. So thank you very much to the sponsor of this video. Jumping into tier 5, we're going to work our way up. So with tier 5, I'm not going to change any characters in this tier, but I will be adding a character to it. So let's go ahead and add V2 Jinbei. Now, someone in my comment section did bring it up, like, why isn't V2 Jinbei on the list? And like, honestly, yeah, he really should be on the list, to be honest. Like, a lot of these other characters are just bad, and you're not really going to be using them in content. I mean, very niche circumstances, maybe. But I think Jinbei deserves to be on the list. He's a character you could use, but of course, there's just way better options instead of him. And for the rest of these characters, I feel comfortable leaving them where they are. Moving on into tier 4 though, as I mentioned, we wanted to add 6 Plus Cracker to the list. Last month, Cracker was in between Barto Cavendish and Garp. He was in this position here. So I want to go ahead and add Cracker to the list at this point in time. Though I don't want to add him into tier 4. I actually will be putting him into tier 3. I'm going to put him below Onami. That's where I'm going to be placing him right now. But as for the other characters in this tier, there is also another change that I want to be doing, and that's with Arlong crew. I also want to move him up into tier 3. I used him a little bit during the month as a crewmate. As a crewmate, he's just so good, like providing that rainbow attack boost, and you know, you can go ahead and use V1 Akainu as a support on him to grant you a full board of strength slots, which you can use to your advantage. I think this Arlong crew unit is actually pretty nice as a crewmate. Obviously, Captain Effect sucks, and the bad thing about him is that he already has a limit break expansion. He debuted with an expansion, which means that, you know, for him to get a buffed Captain Effect in the future, we have to rely on a super evolution. So I really hope that he does receive one in the future, because I think with a buffed Captain Effect, this guy actually could be freaking crazy. So as for the placement for Arlong crew, I don't know exactly where I want to put him. I mean, he's definitely better than Halloween Shanks, I feel. Like, I just never see a need for, like, Halloween Shanks. There's never a piece of content where I'm like, you know what? Halloween Shanks is that go-to guy that's going to help me. Whereas, like, Arlong crew, he gives you cooldown reduction, he has the Sailor effect to resist it, and he's an attack booster, and you can have a support that can grant you a full board of slots. That's going to help you way more than whatever Halloween Shanks tries to do. Like, maybe in the Kizuna Clash, we need color affinity and a chain boost. Yeah, that is going to be good there. But I feel like Arlong is more useful in more cases comparatively. But as for the rest of tier 4, that's completely fine with me. Tier 3, also no changes aside from the additions that we've done here, but no changes at all. Tier 2, from here though, I will be making a change here. And that is going to be, I think I want to put the Sweet Commanders up the top. I did use Sweet Commanders quite a lot during the month, and that support effect that they have is just so good. Plus, the unit itself is amazing if you're running a mono strength team. Chain boost, color affinity, and attack boost on one special activation. Yeah, that's pretty good. The only thing that's missing with this unit, if this unit did a damage dealing special, oh boy, this unit with the Akainu support would be so juicy. To give all of those buffs plus a full board of slots is pretty good. But of course, great synergy with other strength units in the game. I do think this is probably the best unit in this tier. I probably also want to go ahead and change Luffy lore. I think I'm going to put Luffy lore a little bit lower, just because the captain effect is just bad. Like, you're never using Luffy lore as a captain in today's day and age. Still relatively good as a crewmate. It's a Luffy and a lore unit, great supports of course, but as a unit though, pretty bad, unfortunately. Once decks get a bit more powerful, you know, Zora obviously could get buffed. The rest of these units I think are pretty fair. Snake Man actually saw a little bit of play before the end of the month with the brand new Bonnie event as well, which is cool to see. And then in tier 1, so there is one change that I actually want to do, and it's going to be with Moria. I'm going to be moving Moria all the way up to the 3rd position here on tier 1. I love Moria. I think he is honestly one of the best legends that has released in 2021. That unit is crazy, but of course he definitely has a couple of drawbacks that make him kind of annoying to use. And because he's an int super type, sometimes you'd want to do some synergy with some other int super types, but obviously against with this guy, he doesn't synergize well with him at all. And like this guy, this Blackbeard is like not that usable a lot of the time. He's okay, but not the best. So either way, I think Moria is still like one of the best legends that released this year, and I don't really have any other qualms with any other characters on this list at the moment. But anyways, I think that's pretty much it. And for tier 0, I know a lot of people are going to be asking about versus Ace. A lot of people have been saying that they wanted versus Ace to be in tier 0. I don't think that he deserves to be in tier 0 just yet. The main thing that's annoying about versus Ace is he's so annoying to use in terms of his versus effect, because you need to consume those strength decks and quick slots, very much like Akainu, right? But the thing is, Akainu increases the chances of quick slots appearing, and he does increase them by a pretty decent margin. So it's actually very easy to get Akainu's versus effect to activate. I used Ace a couple of times during the month, and getting his versus effect is such a pain, because you'll just randomly get Psi, Int, 10, and recovery slots, and not much you can do with those. So that is a little bit of a hindrance with him. So it obviously makes his speed lower, because if you need that versus effect to get through the content, yeah, that is a bit of a hindrance to him compared to Akainu, which can generate that versus effect way faster than what Ace can. Plus the fact is that Akainu is able to technically get his versus effect to launch against any enemy. If he takes damage and does the infliction back to them, you're able to get that conditional boost. Whereas Ace, you're never going to get that conditional boost against an enemy that has the full immunity buff, unfortunately. So I just think like Akainu is way better in almost every way, and he's slower than Akainu in like every way as well. So it just goes to show, right? Even though he is a free spirit and shooter captain, the free spirit really good class, I just don't really see the reason as to why he should be tier 0. When like characters like versus Big Mom and versus Kaido, I feel like are a little bit better choices. And in terms of getting their versus effect, I think Big Mom's versus effect is actually kind of annoying to activate, and plus her versus effect isn't super broken. It's kind of nice to generate those similar slots, because you can obviously get around like enemy orb changes and stuff like that. Kaido is way more valuable, even though normal attacks only is kind of a thing. But if you're able to get around normal attacks only, or there is just no normal attacks only at all, that versus effect will literally just wipe through like everything. It's so powerful to activate if you're able to get it to actually hit against the enemy. And you know, Shanks' crew, he's just such a valuable unit. I just don't think he deserves to drop down to tier 1 quite yet. But next month's tier list is going to be interesting because we're introducing so many new legends. It's really going to shake it up. So it's going to be interesting once that arrives. And I think by far and away, Roger is still the best legend in the game. Don't at me. I don't care what anyone has to say. Roger is still the best in the game, and that's the facts. I'm sorry. This tier list is all factual, by the way. But anyways, that's the changes from last month. There really aren't too many changes. I mean, I guess maybe Sobermask could drop down probably to the lowest of tier 1, because the only reason why he's here is because of his easy generatable full board of slots and attack boost. But like outside of that, he's pretty terrible. I mean, he's a Sanji unit though. He does get a couple of good supports. Like Shirohoshi Manchuri, one of the best subs. Vivi Rebecca, one of the best subs. Like these are hard to replace units on teams. Whereas like this guy, yeah, you can substitute him for other types of units, but he's a really cool unit nonetheless. But anyways, let's go ahead and start adding the 2 new legends that debuted during the month. The Fire Tank Pirates. Fire Tank Pirates, to no one's surprise, are one of the best legends in the game. They're definitely in tier 1, but the real question is to where I would put them. Now, I don't own Fire Tank Pirates, so I haven't had that much opportunity to use them, but I do know they're very good, and I think preemptively, without using them too much, I want to put them just below Moria. Now, look, as I said, if I pull them and I start to use them, maybe I might move him up, but I think for now, I would probably leave him in tier 1. I do think Moria is just nutty in all senses because of his really good special, really good captain effect. Super type is useful in a lot of situations. I think Moria is slightly more valuable to have, but Fire Tank Pirates boosting 2 classes in Driven and Shooter have great synergy with Magellan, have great synergy with Ace, and also with Versus Akainu as well. Like, this guy can work with so many of the other really powerful units that have released over the past few months. So this guy is really good. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's bad, but as someone as I haven't pulled yet, I don't really feel comfortable placing him at the top of this tier without definitively saying like, yeah, he is the best one. I still think Kaido is like this super type Kaido, man, is on another level. This unit is so much fun to use. He's fun, he's fast, and he's very good. And I think that I would rather use this Kaido over this Ace in a lot of content, to be honest. Obviously with full immunity, this is kind of annoying to use him, but even like normal attacks only, for example, it's still really good to use this guy. He's just such a valuable unit to have. Versus Ace though is still good. I'm not discrediting what Ace can do, by the way. I still think Ace is one of the best legends in the game, but what I'm saying is I definitely think the legends above him are characters I would rather use over Ace in a lot of instances, right? But now we got Bonnie. Now, I don't think Bonnie is as good as Fire Tank Pirates. I do definitely think Bonnie is tier 1 though, because that utility support is really good. You can use her on a lot of teams that are not even int focused. So for that reason, definitely tier 1, because like amazing special. A super type is kind of weird in my opinion, and the captain effect is also like kind of also really wacky. No damage reduction, no health boost, but you're able to generate recovery slots relatively easily. If you attack with type advantage, you generate a recovery slot at the end of that turn, very similar to how with this guy, with the Luffy and Zoro character, where if you attack with type advantage, you get a guaranteed Wano slot at the next turn. It's a pretty useful effect to have. The only thing is you have to attack with type advantage, which isn't always applicable. Plus she's a rainbow 3.75. All other colors get int characters specifically get that 5 times boost with a recovery slot. So at times it may be a little bit difficult to generate those slots, though her super type plus her special will generate a full board of recovery slots for you, which is good. And then the utility as well, you have to add all on top of that. Now in terms of where I would place her in terms of overall value, I feel like Bonnie is probably around this tier, like the bottom of tier 1. I feel like if I had these characters, I would probably rather use Halloween Lore over Bonnie. I don't know if I would use Sugar over Bonnie. Sugar is really valuable too though, lots of really cool effects going on there. This is about where I would place Bonnie, but again, this is another character that I haven't had a lot of time to use yet, unfortunately. I've only really used Bonnie on the free-to-play farming content, haven't used her in the arena, or I'm assuming that this character is going to be good for the arena. I'm not 100% sure yet, but yeah, haven't had too much opportunity to use this character, but you know, just preemptively with what she does on paper, I think that this character is a really good, solid unit that is going to help clear a lot of content, that's for damn sure. But honestly, this has been a relatively shorter tier list video because there weren't really many changes we had to do to the tier list, and there were only 3 characters we had to add to this as well. Just overall, I just don't think any of the content or any of the characters that released throughout this month really shuffled things up. I do still feel very comfortable with the characters in all of these tiers and where they're placed, or at least in the top 2 tiers, in tier 0 and tier 1. I feel very comfortable with their placings, especially tier 0. I definitely think that Roger is the best in the game. I think versus Akainu is an easy second place. But then after that point, that's when you could really make arguments. I know many people would argue Ace, many people would argue Big Mom, people would still argue Snake Man, people would probably argue Fire Tank Pirates, you know, and I'm sure people are going to argue Luffy Sanji as well. I did actually use Luffy and Sanji for that free-to-play farming event. Pretty cool unit, of course, but we'll have to wait and see. We do think on Japan that Luffy and Sanji are going to be receiving a super evolution. Now, we don't know if that's confirmed or not. That does seem a little bit strange, because if Luffy and Sanji, if they get a super evolution, they could do some really crazy shenanigans, like specifically with stuff like Super Swap. If Super Swap comes for these super evolution units, I am so looking forward to how they're going to super evolving dual units in the future. Like characters like Whitebeard versus Marco, characters like Luffy and Ace, Cat Dog definitely needs one. Like, oh, dude, they could do some really cool stuff. I mean, even Luffy Zoro with a super swap. Imagine like a super swap that like removes all bind despair paralysis or whatever it is, and then special bind, and then they also change all slots to Wano. Like, that could be absolutely nuts. Like the possibilities are endless with super swap, and I'm very interested to see what they do. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.